Hi yogis, join me at the back edge of your mat in a kneeling position where we will begin this 20-minute practice. Palms flat to your knees and engage a long, tall, straight spine. Chin level, let your arms sweep up overhead, palms sitting together, gazing up at your thumbs. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Bring the chin forward and down as your hands draw to the heart. Inhale again, sweeping arms up overhead, gazing upwards, thumbs to your third eye. This time send your hands to the sky, lower forward and down, and plant your palms to the earth, rooting down. Extended child's pose. Keep pressure drawing through your palms to ease the hips back to your heels. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rounding up through your spine. Heart rises. Exhale, body rounds. Cat-cow. We'll travel through this a few more times. Inhale. Exhale. Allow your hips to rock back towards your heels and feel a stretch across your shoulder line. Movement with your breath. Drawing back to a neutral spine after this final lift and rounding. Creep your hands out forward in front of you, keeping your hips over your knees. Inhale, and as you exhale, allow your heart to bow forward and down to your mat. Anahata pose, puppy pose, and we'll draw back into this twice more after this position. So you'll find a lot more space and openness. Lift your gaze, draw your right arm and thread it underneath your left, dropping down to that right shoulder. Your right palm faces upwards, and lowering down to the side of your cheek. Feeling a beautiful stretch in that left shoulder line. Bring the left palm inwards, push down, unthread. Hands again set, walk back out to your puppy pose. Allow the chest to lower as you exhale. A sense of pouring the spine forward and down. Take your left arm now, threading it underneath the right. Palm faces upwards on that underneath arm. Set your right palm in closer to the left arm, push the mat away. Come back to all fours. Walk your hands forward and out, inhaling. Exhale. Imagine that your spine is water pouring out of a glass from the tailbone through to your fingertips. Now ease your whole body forward and down, sliding in between your elbows. Sphinx pose. Engagement through the legs, the toes tapping for the wall behind. Lower your chest down, glide the hands back by your armpits. Push the mat away, keep the arms locked in by the sides of the body. Lift your heart shining forward, lowering down, and moving quite fluidly, like a wave rolling. Exhale as we lower. Inhale as we roll upwards. Exhale, rolling down. Grip your arms out away from the body, sitting to your fingertips, elbows bent, coming into a stop sign with your arms, and keep that movement in the spine going. Remembering to keep your legs long and engaged. Inhale, holding this time, then exhale as we lower. Inhale, this time holding for a little bit longer, finding your breath. Rolling all the way forward and down, reset the palms, elbows in by the sides of the body, coming to your knees, tucking under the toes, float your knees from the mat, hips high, heels low, downward facing dog. And again, come back to that sense of your palms being rooted down into the mat, so we're pushing. And to pedal out through your heels. And feel free to allow a rolling and a rocking to come through your hips, a looseness through your shoulders. Setting the heels evenly back down, gliding forward and out into a high plank. Engage your core, shoulders over the creases of the wrists. Lift the hips high once again. Floating through, forward and out to a high plank once again, engaging your core. Crown of the head reaches forward, heels reach back, and then we lift the hips high. Rolling forward and out through your spine. Lifting the hips high. Rolling forward and out. Rocking forward on your toes, bending your elbows, lowering your body, flatten your feet down and lift your heart forward and up. And we're going to swing and pinball the hips from side to side. Think of touching that hip bone to the long edge of your mat. Come back to the center, curl underneath the toes, float your hips high. Rolling forward and out, core is engaged. Rock forward, bend the elbows, lower down. Peeling up and away, the knees and the thighs are lifted from the mat. Pinballing our hips once again, but I want you to add in sweeping your gaze to the hip that's traveling towards the edge of the mat. Come back to the center, curling the toes, lifting the hips high. Holding our downward facing dog, thinking of that perfect upside down V. Bring your right knee forward towards your chest, hugging in, and then tap across to your right elbow, swing across, tap to your left, tap to your right, left, tap to your right, come back to the center, set that leg up high, flexing the foot in your three-legged dog. Keep the toes pointing down towards the mat, lowering your leg. Bring your left knee in towards your chin. Step your left leg to your left elbow, across to the right. Lift once more, come back to the center and send that leg high, keeping the foot flexed, toes pointing down. Keep your hip bones pointing down towards the mat. Allow that leg to float down. Right knee comes back in close to the chest once again. And then we set the foot down in between our palms. Gazing forward, long body. Set your left foot down flat, heel on a 45, right heel in line with your left heel. Lift your torso, sweep the arms up overhead, Virabhadrasana 1. Hip bones pointing now towards the front short edge of your mat. And then as you exhale, come into Virabhadrasana 2, so your hip bones now face the long edge of your mat. Gazing across the middle finger and your front arm, glide out into the distance. Turn your palm to face the sky and paint a rainbow overhead. Reverse warrior. Gliding across now, extended angle. Setting your palm to the ground under your shoulder line or onto your fingertips, or perhaps even a block. Your right arm reaches for the sky and then loop it behind your back and drop that left shoulder a little lower down. Bind your hands behind you or grab onto the back of your t-shirt. Staying long in your spine. Reset the left palm down under the shoulder line and straighten out your front bent knee, reaching the right arm up high, Trikonasana triangle pose. Long back, long neck. Push the mat away, reverse your triangle. Come back to our Virabhadrasana 2, front knee over the ankle. Inhale. And as we exhale, cartwheeling forward and down, come to the ball of the back foot. And step that leg back. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Set that foot down flat in between your palms. Taking a moment here. Set that back heel down on a 45. Set up heel to heel alignment. Push down through the outside edge of that right foot as you lift the torso. Inhale. Exhale, open out into Virabhadrasana 2. Keep the outside edge of that right foot anchored down into the mat. Gliding forward out into the distance, turn that front palm skywards. Rainbow time. Gliding across into our extended angle, remembering palm can be flat under the shoulder line. Set to your fingertips, use a block. Now draw that right arm up, loop it behind your back, and draw that left leg underneath, and again, perhaps binding, perhaps grabbing onto your shirt. You may find you work very differently from one side to the other. Plant the left palm back down to the mat. Opposite arm reaches high, straighten out that bent knee, long spine. Imagine you've placed your body in between two panes of glass. So we're staying level in our back. Sweeping up and over, reversing. Resetting our triangle pose, gazing out into the distance. There's nothing in the past to anchor us back there. Cartwheeling forward and down. Peel to the back ball of the foot. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Elongate the spine. Roll forward and out, high plank. Rock forward. Flatten down your feet. Create space between your ears and your shoulder line. Curl the toes underneath, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe. Bring your right knee back forward and towards the chest. And then sweep your right foot and wrap the toes around the outside of your left wrist. Your lengthened leg is long and straight, big toe in line with the hip. Walking ourselves forward and out and lowering your torso. And perhaps you cross your forearms and lower your forehead to your arms. We can walk the hands out a little wider from the body, forehead to the mat. Or even grip the arms out long and straight in front of us. But with all of these options, your lengthened leg, keep it engaged. Connect that big toe and your lengthened leg down into the mat. Begin to lift your torso. That lengthened leg, we now sweep around and set the foot to the outside of the front bent knee. Both sit bones to the earth. Inhale as we reach high with our right arm. Exhale. Inhale, sitting tall in the spine. And exhale as we twist, sweeping our gaze backwards. Be sure not to set any weight in your back arm, set to the earth. Bring ourselves back centered and forward. Take your hands around that top leg. And we're setting ankle to knee and knee to ankle. Set to your fingertips, tall spine. Exhale as we lean forward and out. Now think of the length from your hips, your tailbone, through the spine to the crown of the head. Staying as flat and long in our back as possible. Coming back tall. Take your hands to your top leg, sweep it back around long. Top of the foot flat. Set your hands, curl underneath the toes on the back leg. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Staying on the same leg. Bring that right knee back in towards the chest again. Sweep across to the outside of your left hand, lowering down. Just revisiting, just finding a little bit more space and openness. Curl underneath the back toes, float away the knee. Glide that right leg high to the ceiling, three-legged dog with a flexed foot. Lowering that foot down. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left knee in towards the chest. Sweeping left foot, wrapping your toes around that right wrist. Feeling proud and open. Inhaling. Exhale, walking yourself forward and out. Allow the weight of your torso to settle to the inside of that front bent leg. Engage your lengthened leg as you begin to walk your hands back in, sitting tall in the spine once again. Lengthen legs, sweeps forward, setting your foot to the outside and in front of that bent knee underneath. Anchor your sit bones. Inhale as we reach up high with our left arm. Exhale, sitting to the outside of the front bent knee. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale as we twist. Bring ourselves back centered, taking your hands around that top leg, sitting ankle knee, knee to ankle. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale as we lean forward and out. Create space in the bones in your back as we anchor down through the sit bones and we glide forward and out through the crown of the head. Resetting. Sweep that top leg back around long. Curling underneath the back toes, lift away your knee and step that leg back. Bring that leg across once again, wrapping around the outside of your right foot. Remember, we're just revisiting just to give ourselves a little bit of a freedom and a little bit of a pat on the back about how open the body's already feeling. Curl underneath the back toes. Sweep that left leg high, three-legged dog with a flexed foot. Allowing that leg to settle back down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, wave your body forward and out. Rock forward, lower your torso, flatten your feet. Lift your heart, shining forward. Curl the toes under. From here, take your knees wide to the outside edges of the mat. And we're going to take the knees and set them underneath the hips, tops of the feet flat. And come back to your puppy pose with a wider set in our knees. Really let your spine melt forward and down. We can gaze out into the distance between our palms. We'll lower your forehead down towards the mat. Once again, we bend the elbows and lower the body. Flatten the tops of the feet down. Further lengthen your legs as we reach the toes to the wall behind. Coming onto our knees, curling the toes under and walk your knees in towards your elbows. And then we can walk the balls of the feet in towards the elbows as we set ourselves in dolphin pose. It's downward facing dog on our forearms. Take your knees wide again to the outside edges of the mat. Touch your big toes together, let the hips fall to the heels. Cross your forearms over and allow your forehead to settle down onto the mat. And we inhale. And we exhale as we soften. Thank you so much for coming along and practicing with me today. I truly appreciate it. Namaste.